Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome to the fun little 30-minute weekdays, kind of short streams. If you're new here and this is your very first time, we're just going to hang out, answer some questions in 30-ish minutes. Usually goes a little over 30 minutes, but it's all right. And have a good time and hanging out. Thank you to you awesome people that were part of that notification platoon, jumping right in to the chat right away. We got Raymond, we got Civil War Washington, with Hyperroing 031, we got Charles, we got DJ, we got Nicholas, we got Edward, Ethan, Anakin. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. So, what do you guys got going on? How is your evening going? What questions do you have about the United States Army? Or life in general. I mean, sometimes I can elaborate on some stuff. So, how's it going, guys? I just enlisted in the Marines. Well, awesome. DJ, hopefully that works out great for you. Edward, I would like to buy ads on the channel. How would that work? You'd have to go through Google, and there's no guarantee to even go on my channel. But yeah, that's not really a thing I do. You don't really buy ads on my channel that way. Ethan, what's happening? I had my last day of 6th grade today. Well, awesome. Have fun going to the 7th grade then. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Are you from Germany, or are you just saying it that way? Because I don't think is that how you actually spell it? I don't think that's how you actually spell it. Sorry I'm late. We just started. We're just started, Danny. Just got this party going. Hello, this is my first time. Wow, we got a newbie. So what's up? What does he got? GameStop dumpster diving? You dumpster dive at GameStop and find anything cool? Any games that people just don't want? But thank you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out for this little 30-minute thing that I do on the weekdays. What's up, Raymond? What's up, Crocodile Keys Productions? What's up, Ray? You're my hero. Well, thanks, Anakin. I appreciate that. Do I play Xbox? Packed your ass. I do not. I don't have an Xbox. I usually if I play games, it's a PlayStation. I have a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 4 Pro, and then I also sometimes play PC games once in a great while too. But I don't even play games a whole lot. I'm not very good at especially multiplayer games. I'm horrible. First-person games, I do a little bit decent somewhat, anyways. What do you think of Fort Trump? Is that a thing? I know they've talked about a ship or something like that. But usually they don't name a installation after someone that's still alive. But I don't know. Are they really doing that? I don't know if that's a real thing. What should I have for dinner? Let's see. I'm going to say lasagna. Lasagna is great. So I'm going to recommend lasagna, Danny. 1 more month until basic. Woohoo. Let's go. Awesome. Hopefully it works out great. Hopefully have fun. Well, you probably won't have fun. It's going to suck, but it's only that for that time frame. Afterwards, it gets a lot better. So, J2 Suits is out of control, but hilarious. Was he streaming right now? He better not be streaming right now. No. What do you think of Ruth Tax? Just got to try to wear her to New York, the one in the Whitney Museum. I have no idea what you're talking about, man. Couldn't tell you. How do I join the military as an officer, and what do they do? To join as an officer, you're going to have a bachelor's degree. So you can either go to college, get a bachelor's degree, and then apply for OCS, or you can do the direct-ish more route of doing ROTC, which is a college scholarship kind of a thing. And then you go and learn all the military stuff while going to college at the same time, and then go directly into the military. Or you go to a straight-up military college, which is West Point, which is really super hard to get into. But officers mostly are leadership positions that do, officer stuff, leadership stuff, planning and stuff. Hi, Chris. Been scoping out 88 mic video quite a bit lately. I guess it's my great nephew signed up for. Well, awesome. Hopefully it works out. It's an okay MOS. I mean, it depends, I guess, on your personal, preferences. If you like being a truck driver and all that kind of stuff, or transportation, it'd be great. I just kind of did it just to do it, I guess. What do you play for video game wise? So right now I'm playing Days Gone, the Spider-Man game, and that's all on PlayStation. And then if I play on PC, then I'm usually playing No Man's Sky. So that's for the most part. Yes, I found 6 copies of Wii Music, a good PlayStation 3 controller, and Thief on PlayStation 3 so far. Awesome. Good deal. So are you making a whole YouTube channel around that, or is that just a fun handle name based on something you do outside of? Interesting. Thinking of joining the Navy after high school because my uncle was Navy too. Awesome. Good luck to you. Hopefully that goes well. Just found my old Star Wars Lego. Cool, I guess. I'm not a Star Wars fan, or really a Lego fan, I guess. Hi, Chris. I suck at games too. Even the computer makes me look stupid. Well, I understand, Jay DeVore. Mostly it's like PC, or not like online multiplayer games. I'm really bad at multiplayer games. But first person, one player games, I do all right, I guess, depending on the game sometimes. Great channel. Thanks, Brandon. Where'd it go? Also, NAIT, can they make you stay back until the next class graduates for missing a class in black phase? So the only way that you could get like held back or whatever, so let's say if you fail something, you might have to get recycled is what it's called. You get pushed back. If you show up sometimes, if they don't have things coordinated properly and you finish basic before your next AIT class starts, then you're what's called I think hold under, I think is what it is. I forget what, I think that's the reverse version, the hold under. And so then you have to kind of hang out and wait and do crappy details until your AIT starts. And then there's hold over, which is if maybe they don't have your orders or something's not ready and you get stuck having to sit there and wait until they come up with your orders or whatever before you're done with AIT, and then you can move on. And that same kind of thing, you usually get stuck doing some crappy details. So, what's the current U.S. Army camouflage? The OCP, Operational Camouflage Pattern. You know any soft guys? Not while I was in. I've known a couple of guys that were after the Army, not like while in the Army. I didn't. Hey Chris, what are your very top 3 bands? Mostly rock or metal. Mine is Slipknot, Metallica, and Dio. Those are great bands. So Metallica would probably be one, because they're like my all-time favorite band, even though I don't listen to them a whole lot much anymore. And then I would have to go with probably Parkway Drive and Motionless in White. Do you have a son? No, I have a daughter. Leave in September for basic, for Army, Fort Leonard Wood. Good luck to you. Roof decks where people have parties or hang out. What do you think of them? Sounds cool. We don't have that here in Colorado Springs. But I don't think. Not gonna think of. Sounds interesting, Edward. Do you think the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare looks good? Well, all they really showed is that cinematic one. So, did they show any game footage? I don't remember if they showed game footage, but I like it because I'm sick of the dang like futuristic stuff. I want like current Modern Warfare stuff. So I was glad they're bringing back some more Modern Warfare type of things. Any advice on team trying to make SOF, Special Forces basically, or the Special Operations, either one of those things? Get in really good shape, do a lot of studying. It's really, really tough for someone to go directly into that kind of thing. Most people fail, it seems like, when they try to go directly. Most of the people that have the better success rate is people that spend a little bit of time in the Army first, get a little bit of knowledge of being in the Army and learning tactics and everything, and then go for Special Forces or whatever. Those are usually, it seems like, the people that have more higher success rate. What happens when a female soldier gets pregnant in the military? They get pregnant. So as long as it wasn't happening during a deployment, it's no big deal. It happens. Females are allowed to get pregnant. It's not like anything, it's not like because you join the military, you have to put having a family on hold. I know it seems like a lot of people have that misunderstanding of thinking that women in the Army are not allowed to get pregnant. You can't get pregnant in a combat zone, in certain other situations and stuff, but women can have babies. They have maternity leave that, soldiers, if they have a child, go on. I think they're working on implementing more time for the fathers too, to where they get some maternity leave time. But yeah, women can have children in the military. They go on maternity leave. They'll be on probably light duty for a little bit, and then they're back at it, back doing their soldier jobs. Get the new Call of Duty man. It's going to be boss. It looks pretty cool. Merch dis real ThatChrisChaos. What? Oh, OMFG. I'm a huge ass fan. Man, I ship out September 3rd, Fort Jackson, 89 Bravo. Well, awesome. Hopefully you have fun in Fort Jackson, or you probably won't have fun, but you'll get through it, and it'll suck, and then it gets better. Training sucks. You guys gotta keep that in mind. Like, I was talking to someone today about how someone that they know is having a rough time in basic training, wants to quit and everything like that. You can't base your military experience based on basic training or AIT. That sucks. You know, some people have fun in basic training. Some people think it's great. But for the most part, basic training sucks, and it's supposed to put you through the test to see if you can handle under pressure and see if you can deal with being in a stressful environment and make sure that you can, you know, do your job under stress. So it's gonna suck. It's not fun. Things are much, much better after you get out of basic training and AIT. It's not as crappy as it is. Hey Chris, you know what building you work at here on Carson? I'm stationed here the next couple of years. We should chill. I work at the Mission Training Complex, so if you go and tell your leadership you want to take a JCR or JBCP class, I might possibly be your instructor. So there you go. So tell your leadership that you want to go to take a JCR or JBCP class, and I'll probably be your instructor. So I work inside the Mission Training Complex. I'm bad when I play other people, but when it's just me, I have no one else to compare to. I'm pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that works. I know sometimes I'll play with bots, and sometimes I'm doing pretty good fighting bots, but for the most part, I usually suck at games. What happens if you fail AIT? Do you switch MOS or something? They'll give you a couple of chances, so you might, if you fail, say like once, twice, or whatever, you might get a couple of chances, you might get recycled. And then after multiple attempts of not passing the required courses, the required tests or whatever, then they could make you switch to another MOS. So something they feel like is maybe easier, something like along those lines that you still qualify for. So that can't happen. Planning to start enlistment process in a month or two. Time to set the wheels in motion. Well, good luck to you. Pantera's a great band. I like Pantera. I'm going to be a PFC 88 mic. Any suggestions or advice? Not really. You're going to get a lot of training, in AIT, get into good shape. It's always the best thing to do. At basic training, how deep of medical record check do they actually look? Because I passed out about a year ago and went to the hospital, and I worried about the record check. If there's something on your medical history that maybe you have a problem with fainting or passing out, then that could come up to be a problem. I don't really think they look into your medical history, really. I think they're going to do some physicals and some other things like that, but that's kind of, for the most part, about it. I don't think they actually look back at your medical history. A ship Monday. Well, good luck to you, Arthur. What about the sniper tab? There is not a sniper tab. There's an unofficial one, and some people get away with having a sniper tab, but officially there is not a sniper tab. Hey Chris, would you recommend dating a civilian or someone in the service? Personal preference. I don't think it really matters. Trying to get an active duty, but I can't pass the ASVAB. If I don't pass, then the next time I have to wait 6 months. Study. There's a lot of resources online that you can check out. There's books. There's the ASVAB for Dummies. All that kind of stuff. I would just try to study like crazy. It's the only thing you can really do. Which MOS would be good for snitches? CID? Chris, I'm in the Georgia National Guard and I ship in August on the 28th and was wondering if I could change my mind before then. Right now, I'm a medical laboratory specialist. You want to try to change your MOS? Maybe. It's kind of tough to do so. You'd have to talk to an Army recruiter for sure. I'm not really sure if that would be something available to be able to do. We should grab a beer, Chris, on me. I don't really drink. Sorry, I don't drink. Yo, Chris, be my instructor for 88 Mike. I don't know if I'd want to be an instructor for 88 Mike. I like doing JCR and JBCP. If you're not familiar, I'm an instructor on Fort Carson for a system called JCR and JBCP, which is a system that you use to learn how to or to be able to track people on the battlefield and send up reports and everything. So that's what I teach. But I don't know if I would want to be an idiot mic instructor. Have you played The Last of Us? I have, a long time ago. I never finished the game. I'm really bad at finishing games. I don't ever finish games. So I'm really bad about that. There's rarely do I finish a game. I get too sidetracked. I'll play a game for a while, get sidetracked, play something else, and never go back to the other one. I'm bad about that. Hey Chris, love the stream questions. The zip code that determines BAH is based on the duty station or the zip where my wife and kids live. My kids are in a good school system. We don't want to move them. Okay, so you're in a tough kind of bind then. If you're going to do something where you're going to go, so in basic, it's going to go off of where your spouse is living. If you go to your first duty station and you don't want your wife and kids to go with you because you want them to stay in that school back where they're at, then they are going to pay you, I believe, BAH based on where you're at, because they no longer do what was called geographic bachelors, where they used to allow you to live in the barracks while your parents were living somewhere else. Or not your parents, but your family was living somewhere else. So I think they're going to pay you, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they're going to pay you based on where you live. So you have to keep in mind, though, they're not going to put you in the barracks. If you are married, you're going to have to either get on-post housing, or you're going to have to get a place off-post, pay for the rent. But if you have a place back home where your family's staying at and you have to pay rent there, you still have to pay rent for there too. So you're going to be stuck in a situation where you're going to have to be paying rent for two places, unless you're lucky enough to score on-post housing. Then you might be able to score something that way. Chris, do you remember my comment on Twitter about the protractor? I felt so stupid. Also, I have never seen a square protractor. Yeah, no, it's cool. I might do a video. Probably if I do a video on LandNav, it might be like a 3-part video. I don't want to make it super long because it is a complicated process. Maybe like a first video on how to actually plot your points on a map. The second one, how to actually find your points. And then the third one, kind of some advanced tips for different things, like if you run into an obstacle, how to navigate around the obstacle, but still kind of keep your positioning to be able to get to where you need to go and everything. I was pretty good at LandNav. I'm not trying to, make it sound like I'm the greatest at LandNav, but I was pretty good at LandNav. So, and I've also several times taught people how to do LandNav, like in the Army and even after the Army too. So. Hey Chris, how hard is it to get the Power Ranger Sapper and Airborne tabs in one? I don't know what the Power Ranger, just a Ranger tab? So you could, the Ranger tab would be going to the Ranger School. Sapper is kind of reserved for engineers, but other people can go if there's slots available. And then the Airborne one really comes down to you being in an Airborne unit. That one you don't get an Airborne tab just because you went to Airborne school. You have to go to an actual Airborne unit to be able to do stuff like that. So just be aware of that as well. Do you get paid extra money for being airborne if you're in an airborne unit? Yes. If you're in an airborne unit doing active airborne jumps, which is what, 3 or one every 3 months, something like that, then you get paid an extra $100 a month. So it ends up breaking down to $50 extra paycheck. It's not a whole lot extra, really. Or it might be a little bit more than that, but it's still not a whole lot. It's like around 50, 70, something like that bucks per paycheck. Are back tattoos okay in the Army? Yeah, it's fine as long as it's not something that's racist, sexist, or in some way offensive. Remember to like the vid. I agree. You guys, if you're having a good time here, hanging out, make sure to hit that thumbs up. We got about a little bit around 10-ish minutes left of the stream. These are only 30-minute ones, guys. They're a little bit quicker. If you want longer ones, come back on the weekends. How to become a recruiter and a drill sergeant? Well, not at the same time. You don't do both. You could potentially do both, but not at the same time. Typically, when you're E5 or E6, you might come up on orders to go be a recruiter or a drill sergeant, just automatically sometimes. There are sometimes ways you can volunteer for it. Most people, though, just come up on orders. All of a sudden, they'll just receive orders that you're going to drill sergeant school or you're going to recruiting school to become a recruiter or drill sergeant, and it goes that way. That can usually happen. Most commonly, it's E6, but sometimes when they really, really need people, they will recruit E5s. Sergeants to go do recruiting or drill sergeants. So, but the common one's usually E6. Broke my was it femur April 9th. Would that keep me out of the service? It depends on how it affects you now. If it affects you really bad, yeah, potentially. It depends on how it limits you physically. So what do you serve in the military or military civilian and have base access? Do you need a reason to be on base, or is it just go to the movies and hang out? Okay, reason to be on base. So what do you serve in the military or military? So I'm a government contractor for the military. So I work for a civilian company that is contracted through the Army. And then as far as to get on base, for the most part, like I have an ID, a government ID, because I'm an employee. But anybody else that wants to go on base, you have to go through usually a vehicle inspection. You have to have a reason to go on base. I mean, that reason could be to go to the movies, possibly, or certain things, you know. But yeah, you can go on base. You just have to check your driver's license, proof of insurance, proof of registration, and go through a vehicle inspection, and they'll let you on base. What do you do in your free time? I've been curious. Watch UFC. Sometimes I go hiking, go exploring around, hanging out with my daughter and my girlfriend. Occasionally play video games. Sometimes just being lazy. Sometimes I just want to be lazy and don't do much of anything. What else on my free time? It's mostly it. I don't know. Hiking or exploring or being lazy. Being lazy is a fun one. My wife is in the Army too. She's active duty and I'm reserves. They said that I have to follow her around because she's higher rank. Is that true? I think they usually, yeah, when they when you have a, what is it called? Can't think what it's called, like off the top of my head. But where both spouses are in the military, typically the higher ranking one has the priority. So if that one's the one that usually get orders, and wherever that one's getting orders to, the lower ranking one ends up with the orders to also go to that location. So yeah. With you being reserved though, I wasn't 100% sure if that's what they told you. Sure, usually I know it's how it is with active, where both spouses will come up on orders for the same location. But yeah, something along those lines. Can you make a video of JROTC? That'd be cool. I think it'd be a little difficult because I've never been through JROTC, nor do I know anybody. Because I mean, there's some videos that I do that I've never been through that experience, but I understand it because I know a lot of people that have done it and they've given me firsthand experience, and I understand it because I've sent soldiers to some of these things or whatever. But JROTC, I don't know anybody that's done JROTC, and they didn't have JROTC when I was in high school, so I don't know. Maybe at some point in time, but I'm not sure. Have to go, see you later. Well, thanks. GameStop dumpster diving. Good luck. Find some cool games. All that awesome stuff. Why is your uniform brown, but the uniform that they wear are blue? It's not like brown. It's camouflage type of style. There's one that's just supposed to be meant for a good camouflage color, and then the fancy one. What's your favorite Marvel movie? I would say Endgame just because it's more recent and I recently saw it, really good. But otherwise, I don't know. I kind of like maybe Iron Man 3 the best. The third Iron Man was really good. I really like that one. Or the second one. Well, the second one was good. I don't know. All the Iron Man ones are really good. I like Iron Man movies. Chris, I go to the range. We should hang soon. Possibly. I don't know. Can you pick that airborne unit you go to? No. You don't get to pick the unit you go to. They're just going to fill slots based on whatever your MOS is and where you're needed, what MOSs are needed, and they're going to throw you in those units. You usually don't get to pick the unit you want to go to. There might be some rare cases where you can, but for the most part you don't. Make a video about 31 Bravo. I'm really interested. Did I look this one up before on one of the live streams? 31 Bravo MOS. Military police. Did I already do that? I already did military police. 31 Bravo? I've already done that. If you go to the MOS Money playlist, I've already done 31 Bravo. Just Justin Bieber versus Tom Cruise. Who's your bet? Probably Tom Cruise, actually. He does a lot of his own stunts. He's in probably really great shape. But Justin Bieber hangs out with Floyd Mayweather a lot, so he might have learned a lot of good tips. I don't know. And he's younger. Probably be pretty tough. I don't know. Maybe Tom Cruise, but I could definitely see Justin Bieber doing it too. I would rather Tom Cruise win, probably, but... Had MEPS on the 24th. The enlist is 11 Charlie. Well, good luck to you. Have a weight-bearing rod, and it doesn't bother me at all. Oh, for the femur thing? Yeah. You're going to go through some physicals, and as long as you can pass the physicals, then they might not care. But I don't know for sure. Can you wear contact lenses in the military? You can. You're allowed to. Usually they don't recommend it if you're going to the field and everything. They want you usually to bring a pair of glasses or wear glasses when you're in the field. But you can. Yeah, for the most part, you can wear contact lenses. I know several people who are in the military that would do that. So what are your MOS? My MOS, if you're not familiar, was an 88 mic. Hey Chris, gotta go. Dinner is getting cold and I'm hungry. Well, thanks for hanging out, Jay the Born. Have a good time. Have a good dinner. Can 68 Whiskey join an airborne unit? They can. They have 68 Whiskeys in airborne units. They have pretty much all MOSs in airborne units, but they're mostly going to pick people who are airborne qualified out of airborne school to go into airborne units. But there's still other chances where other people can end up in those units. Do you think a Sea Cadet? Should I push my nephew to do it? I don't know anything about Sea Cadets, man. Couldn't tell you if it would be great or not. Hey man, how are you? I'm great, Eugene. How are you? What was the most interesting thing that happened during your deployments? Most interesting thing? I don't know. I don't know what the most interesting thing is. Yeah, I can't think of anything offhand. I mean, we did a lot of cool stuff. You know, I did went through this place. There was like an old pool house. Cleared it out, and there's a bunch of documents in some lockers. Cleared out those documents. The intel guys took that stuff, went through it, and found out they were employment records on Saddam Hussein's royal guards. So it ended up being a good recovery. That was pretty interesting, I guess. Checking out the palaces are pretty cool. Got to go inside a couple palaces in Baghdad. Time for some Hulu or baseball, as well as some push-ups on the side. Good luck to you. What's your favorite Star Wars movie? I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I don't hate them either, but I just don't really watch any of them. So I don't know. I don't think I really have one. I'm not even super familiar with all of them. I haven't even seen all of them, actually. I've seen most of them, but I haven't seen, I don't think, the new ones. You missed my paragraph? What are we talking? Let's see. Let's go backwards a little bit. Let me see if I can see it. Since I ship out for 11 Bravo in August, will I be deployed in a combat environment right after graduation, or when will I find out after basic? It just depends on your unit. If your unit's going to be deploying, then you could end up deploying, but not all units are deploying to combat zones. There's very few right now because they're not as active like in Iraq and Afghanistan. So the chances are a little bit slimmer, not impossible, but a little bit less likely with the current situation of what things are going on. So we are right at about 30 minutes. So we usually go a couple minutes over, do a few more questions, and then this will cut it off because these are only 30-minute live streams. Just the quick ones, down and dirty, get down to it, and then I'll be back on the weekend for the hour-long one. How much rank do you think doing future soldier training could get someone? I'm doing 27 Delta. Probably only a little bit. I think you're only going to be able to get up to maybe an E2 or E3, maybe, and maybe even nothing. I don't really know for sure, but that's probably E3. I would imagine would probably be the highest you could possibly go. You're not going to be able to get E4 just from doing the future soldier program. So somewhere's around there. Let's see, we'll do maybe like 2 or 3 more questions. So I'm going to skip around a little bit. Question says, my basic training AIT will be in one place. Will I have 2 graduations or 1? No, you'll still do 2. You would still have a graduation for basic training because you'll be doing basic training with a bunch of people that are not going to be your same MOS. Some of them will be, and then some will be other MOSs, and some of them are going to stay there for AIT and move to another unit, which is your AIT unit, because it won't be the same unit. You have a basic training unit and then AIT units. So you're gonna go out. You're gonna go off to AIT. You'll stay there to go do it. So you'll just take a little bus probably, or walk over to wherever it's at. And then other people who have AITs in other locations are gonna end up getting flights and buses or whatever to those locations. And then you'll check in for that AIT. You'll have a start time. A lot of times you might get like a weekend off before you start basic training, maybe, or before you start AIT. It might just depend. And then when you're done with that AIT, then you have another graduation for AIT. So there is going to be both a basic training graduation and AIT graduation. Let's see. I'm going to go backwards a little bit. I'm going to see if I can find an old one, and then we'll do a new question. So if you have a question, leave it. Maybe I'll pick one more. I'm looking backwards to find an old question that maybe I missed. We'll do this one. Can you be a single father? It's a tough situation. Usually you have to have some kind of way to be able to have someone to take care of the child. So there needs to be someone else that has custody of the child as well. If you are the only one that has custody, then probably not, because it makes it a problem where you can't go to the field, you can't go to deployments. If there's nobody else to be able to take care of your child while you're going to the field or to a deployment or something like that. So most of the people that I've known that either been single fathers or single mothers, they have like their mother or a family member living in that same town, and they are also have custody of that child legally. So that way when they go on these deployments or they go to the field, then the child goes to that other person. Or if you're on good terms and the ex-girlfriend or whatever, or ex-boyfriend, whatever the case might be, is still in that area, then maybe you can still do things that way. It's a really complicated process. And in some cases, they just try to frown against it and will deny you. Be like, no, you're a single father, give up custody, and then maybe we'll take you because we don't want to deal with the hassle of you potentially trying to get out of stuff for your child and stuff like that. So it can vary though, but most of the cases I've known of people that were in those situations, that's how they kind of had to work it. Let's see. Okay, this will be the last question. We'll go with this one right here. What happens if you get hurt in AIT and miss a class? Will they hold you back for it? Yes. So if you got injured to where you cannot participate in training, then you will possibly be what is called a medical holdover, or you'll be kind of going through the recovery process and go back to and probably have to jump in on another AIT class when they catch up to where you left off at, and then you'll join them and go through with them to finish up. So that can be the process. So it just depends on the severity of the injury. If the injury is bad enough to where you can't do training in AIT, then they're going to kind of do a medical holdover, and you're going to be stuck recovering and probably doing like things like CQ duty and sitting at desks and light duty things, and then get stuck having to kind of join another class when they catch up to the point where you left off at and try to graduate with them. So that's how it kind of has to go. All right, so there you go. 30 minutes of chaos. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. I will be back this weekend. Maybe Saturday. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll do Saturday or if I'll do Sunday. But if you're subscribed with notifications turned on, then hopefully you get the alert and you can join in and hang out with me. We'll hang out for an hour there. If I did not get to your question, you have a question still for me, come back later to the video, leave a comment down below. Or an even better place is to find me on Instagram, ThatChrisChaos, or do a search for Christopher Chaos. You'll probably find me very easily, and you can shoot me a message through there. I'm pretty good at being able to respond to people, usually within a day or less. Sometimes it just depends on how many messages I get at one time. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. Before you leave, make sure to hit thumbs up on the video. You guys are awesome. I will see you guys next time. See ya.